Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with some more Star Wars The Old Republic. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Shadows of Revan DLC. It is, of course, December, so if you've pre-ordered that content pack, then you've got 7 days early access as of the 2nd. Now, with that said, this video is, of course, going to need a spoiler warning. So if you haven't played this yet, and you're looking forward to it, then you might want to hold off on watching this. And as much as I love having people watch my content, I don't want you spoiling it for yourself, so the warning is there. But joining me, we've got Captain Darkmire, aka Bombadil of No Guts, No Galaxy, and we are actually on Korriban, so I'm sure a lot of this actually looks familiar to you Imperials, but we're making our way to the fabled Sith Academy. We've been tasked with retrieving some data. So it has indeed been a while since we've seen a story-related update. It looks like, for the most part, BioWare Austin was focusing on ways to monetize the game to the free-to-play gamers, if you will. Strongholds, Galactic Starfighter, all the things in the cartel market, costumes, furnishings, more mounts, things like that. All ways to further increase the amount of coin we throw at this game without having to subscribe. I do choose to subscribe at this point in time, at least. Bombadil's the same, just because that's what we want out of it. But it's nice now to have this DLC, and eventually we'll have access to 2 new planets, Yavin 4 and Rishi, so I'm looking forward to getting planetside and seeing what they're like. This is, of course, Korriban. An altered version of Korriban, of course, under assault from the Republic, and so it's going to look a little bit different, but they've done a good job at keeping a lot of the exterior, at least, familiar.
Imperial defenders have a barricade up ahead. There's no time to go around. You'll have to break through. The Sith Academy isn't far now. Keep it up.
Now, we weren't really sure what to expect. I had no idea if this was actually going to be challenging from the start. This is actually a solo instance, but we were allowed to, of course, party up and take it on. You are provided with a support droid, so you pretty much have a squad of 3, and if you bring your friends, you're then going to have that person and their companion, and, of course, then their support droid. Or, of course, if you have a full squad and you forego the companions, then you can just have all the players and then the support droids, I guess. Which is kind of cool because it makes it feel like more of an assault instead of just 2 or 3 people hitting the planet. It seems to make a little bit more sense in that respect.
Please, you have to get us out of here.
Look, I'm sorry, okay? That's not why we're here. Just try to keep your heads down, all right?
What's going on here?
Slaves. Whole mess of them. Wish we could do something, but this op is strictly smash and grab. Pulling them out puts the whole mission in danger.
We can't leave them behind. Do whatever it takes. Just get them out of here.
Whatever you say.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, if you're just coming back for Shadows of Revan, you may have missed out on the news regarding talent trees. Mostly, they're gone, and they're replaced with what they call the discipline system. And you will recognize some familiar specializations. Of course, the Trooper has Field Medic, Gunnery, and Assault Specialist. You basically choose one of those. You're not mixing between 3 trees. You're choosing one, and then you're unlocking things within that tree. So, for example, this is a Gunnery commando, and when I open that up, I have some groupings that I can choose a couple of abilities. When I unlock, I believe, about 3, it then unlocks the next grouping, and then I can pick within that set. And as I level up to 60, I get more points to spend on that. So you're not really grabbing abilities from 3 trees. You're just focusing on the one. I believe it's supposed to cut down on the cookie cutter specs. At least that's what they've said, but I don't really know what's stopping people from coming up with meta for each specialization. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that I know what I'm talking about. I'm really not an expert on the discipline system, and I fear that if I continue to talk about it, I just may lead you astray. So I will just perhaps have some links in the description below so you can perhaps read up on it yourself. So while we're playing some Star Wars, I think I'll answer a question that I'm sure to receive, and that's what did I think of the Star Wars Episode 7 teaser? And let's just say that I didn't think I could be any more excited than I already was. I was simply blown away by it. In fact, I watched it so many times I lost count. And I usually don't like teasers, but I downloaded that sucker in HD as soon as possible, and I've watched it over and over and over again, and I just can't say enough about it. You know, we got some Stormtrooper fan service. The uniforms, of course, look amazing. X-Wings over the water. Oh my fracking goodness. Beautiful scene that was. The lightsaber, the Sith character perhaps. I know a lot of people are freaking out about the hilt. Honestly, doesn't bother me. It's some sort of new, maybe overclocked saber. Who knows what they're going to do with it. It's not like everybody's lightsaber is going to be like that. Relax, okay? People that are freaking out about such a thing. But the Millennium Falcon and the John Williams score, oh my goodness. I'm just ready to enter hibernation, cryo freeze me, wake me up when it's time to see that movie, because I just can't contain myself. And if you thought that teaser was meh, then I start to wonder if you are truly a Star Wars fan. I just don't know what to say. I noticed that some people didn't think all that much of it. I'm simply glad that I'm not as picky as those individuals, because that doesn't really sound like a fun life to lead. And I'll say it right now. I firmly believe that that movie will be a success. I think that that is the movie that we've been waiting for. And I will see it. I'll walk out of the theater and walk right back in to see it again and again and again. And gladly doing so, because I just believe in the people behind this project. I like J.J. Abrams. I enjoyed the Star Trek movies. I like what Disney's done with the Marvel franchise. I think a lot of people like what Disney's doing with the Marvel franchise, you know, because they're not going in there and taking full control of everything. They're saying, hey, we own these things. We want you to make these things and have at it. Okay, we respect your decisions. You know, it's like having a good publisher for a video game. If you have a great publisher that lets the developer do what they need to do to create a fantastic product, then you're not going to have any problems. And while Disney might have some marks against it, certain things in the past, again, just look back to other films that they've thrown coin at, namely the Marvel movies, and ask yourself if you have a problem with many of those films. But anyways, enough of that. I could obviously talk about Star Wars films all day, every day. We got to talk about Star Wars The Old Republic here a little bit. But I'm pretty sure that anybody watching this doesn't have an issue with me talking about Star Wars movies. So otherwise, you wouldn't be here in the first place. So with that, we are in the Sith Academy. You can see that Bombadil and I were taking some time to look around, because this is obviously where you spend a lot of time when you create your first Sith character. And we were just looking around like, wow, this is, we almost had to do a double take. It's like, yeah, this is the same place. Open up the map, look around. You're like, yep, I remember questing around here. It's kind of, you know, even as Republic players now, we're thinking about it like, wow, it's still kind of sad to see it in this state, because you can kind of put yourself in the shoes of other players. Story-wise, you don't give two flips, and you're here in enemy territory, but you know, as a gamer who has created other characters, you're kind of thinking, oh man, that's rough. At this point, I also couldn't help but think it might have been kind of cool to actually have maybe two trooper characters rolling together, perhaps a commando and a vanguard, and maybe different companions each, kind of have like an actual Havoc squad doing these missions. I probably should have thought of that a long time ago and forced Bombadil into making a trooper. That would have actually been very exciting and just cool looking, just to have that many troopers running around on the screen. But, you know, it was cool even just having somebody with extra blaster firepower. next to you. Obviously, we love lightsabers. We love Jedis in general, and I have a Jedi that I'm working on that I kind of stopped because the leveling process, even with 12 times bonus, still kind of rough sometimes. But all the time when I was playing that Jedi, I just couldn't help but feel like, you know, I still want to be on my trooper. I like the idea of troopers, stormtroopers, and there's something that's iconic about them. I know we're kind of almost going back to the movie stuff again, but in the video game, to be able to play something similar to that, to be part of a science fiction military unit, and to wear impractical but kind of cool looking armor and just have all that blaster firepower at your disposal, just something that's fun about it. And even having the smuggler, you know, standing by, it was kind of nice because you've got, you know, this military leader here, and then you've got this wise ass, you know, smuggler. So it was kind of a nice pairing as well. You could say the same thing about the Jedi and the smuggler, but, you know, really it was just a nice contrast of characters here. And I look forward to actually playing through Shadows of Revan with Bombadil and perhaps a few other players as well. Now, at this point, playing through this, we were starting to wonder about this mission a little bit more, you know, trying to understand how we're even here, actually, how we managed to just slip through some patrol, as they had stated in the briefing. This would almost seem to be like a major offensive. I mean, think about where we're at right now. We're at the Sith Academy, for frack's sakes. It's kind of a big deal. How do we just manage to get in here with not much trouble, you know? And yeah, I guess it's just for the sake of gameplay, but it is a little weird. Maybe some things will start to make sense at a later date. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of secrets ahead, but from what we know from the trailer that we saw of this and from the information that's been given to us by BioWare Austin, it seems like there's going to have to be some sort of offensive against Revan, and it's making me wonder how something like this, a Republic assault on the Empire, is a good idea. Now, obviously, you know, these two factions being at war would only benefit a third faction, and so it makes me think that we're being pitted against each other by perhaps Revan's forces. Just from having seen the trailer, you know, publicly available information that's not considered spoiler information. I'm not one for spoilers. I don't read up on that kind of garbage. But it's starting to make me wonder, you know, why we're really here, what's going on.
Only the greatest of all Sith are permitted to set foot in these chambers. You profane our entire history by your presence alone. Did you believe you could breach the chambers of the Dark Council and go unpunished? That you could steal our great works without challenge?
Yeah. You're big and evil, the room is big and evil, this whole planet is big and evil. I get it, alright?
This won't take long.
Now, at this point, I remember Bombadil and myself were actually laughing a little bit just because it went straight from that little cutscene to zero action. You'd almost think that there would be a fight immediately following. But as with most MMOs, once they have a cutscene, they always kind of give you that prep time. It's like, okay, everybody buff up. Make sure you're healed. Get ready. Here's a big fight. So it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But, you know, I guess what are you going to do? It's a gameplay thing. Again, this was meant to be a solo instance, and they do give you the support droid. So you've got your companion and the support droid. And if you're bringing in a buddy, that's 3 extra units on screen. And, I mean, imagine even having more than that. So it's one of those things where I kind of wish that it would have scaled for the numbers of players in the instance, just to kind of raise the challenge and make it feel like more of an epic battle. Because, I mean, we're at the frackin' Sith Academy. I think that the defense would be a little bit, you know, more potent than it is. But anyways, it is what it is. It's a game. It's kind of the intro to the expansion. So I guess we'll just, you know, leave it at that. It's also kind of funny when you've got some evil Sith Lords taunting you and claiming that they're going to destroy you, and all of a sudden you dispatch them with ease. But it is kind of cool that they yell out once they've been killed. But loot time, I believe that if you are suffering in the gear department, the game will reward you with a set of level 55 armor. I think they want to prepare people for their journey to level 60. But anyways, with that said, we're just kind of inspecting this room, and it's conversation time.
No. The vision. How could the time... Now, I see. You are not the ones who kill me. You have merely cleared the path for the one who will. I face my fate gladly, Jedi. The old man was right about me. Was he right about you, too?
A member of the Dark Council could have been a valuable prisoner. Pity.
The Sith seemed to recognize you, Jensen. Something about a vision. Do you know what that was all about?
I'm afraid not. But the Dark Council is full of deceivers and madmen. You could have been either. Or both. Your part of the mission is done. My team will hold the Academy while I search these chambers along with a few technical specialists. Take the data and get back to Colonel Derek while the path is still clear.
Gladly. The faster I get away from this rock, the better.
Alright, so on top of any loot you find, you're going to get a quest reward choice, so you can pick whatever spec you're using and get some armor appropriate for that. In my case, I go with DPS, because that's what I am. I'm going gunnery. And it's nice that they are providing you with some gear, because for those people that were doing the 12 times experience bonus, it was hard keeping up with equipment. The Galactic Trade Net prices were kind of through the roof because a lot of people were power leveling, and I think individuals were taking advantage of that fact. I think it could have been handled a little bit differently, but it is what it is, and I think now they're making it right.
Here's the data from the Dark Council chambers, Colonel.
Congratulations. You've just succeeded in a mission many people never dared to dream was possible. We've proven that victory, true victory, is within reach. Just imagine, all of the Emperor's followers truly defeated at last. We're close now, I'm sure of it. This is a great day.
So I normally charge by cargo mass. I don't know Korriban's mass offhand, but I'm sure if we check the HoloNet...
It's tython. We need everything we've got!
What are you talking about?
Imperial forces just hit Tython. ISO 5 bombing, strike teams in the Jedi Temple. They need our support now!
How did this happen?
If you're willing to help, we might be able to find out. Blue Squadron, complete refueling operations and launch immediately. Any Wave 1 troops not injured on Korriban, re-equip and board shuttles. Sean, you gather whatever sensor data we have and forward it to all forces. I want everyone en route in 5. Move!
Time to make the Empire wish they'd never even heard of Tython.
Agreed. Don't hold anything back.
I'll pull up every bit of data we've got and talk you through the whole way. Good luck.
Ah, those damn imps, they're making a counterattack on Tython. We gotta mobilize. Bombadil, you fly. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for the continuation to our Shadows of Revan Prelude. We'll definitely see you on the next one.